We're always told that consistency is all about willpower, right? That it's about gritting your teeth and just pushing through. But what if that's completely wrong? What if consistency isn't something you are, but something you built? Today, we're going to flip that whole idea on its head. So, let me ask you something. Does your mood basically dictate your entire workday? On a good day, you feel like you can conquer the world. You're just flying through your tasks. But on a bad day, oh man, even opening your email feels like a monumental effort. If that sounds familiar, you're definitely in the right place. And the answer isn't what you think. And this, right here, is the absolute core of it. That struggle you feel, it's not a personal failing. It is not a lack of discipline. The problem is structural. It's about the invisible systems, or more likely, the lack of them, that are supposed to be supporting you. Okay, so let's put a name to this thing. This invisible enemy that just quietly sabotages your momentum every single day. We're going to call it the decision fatigue tax. And trust me, if you're a founder or a creator, you are paying this tax every single day. So what exactly is this tax? Well, it's not the energy you spend actually doing the work. No, it's the energy you burn just trying to remember how to start. It's that mental load of recalling every little step of a process you've probably done 100 times. It's a tax that you do not need to be paying. This really breaks it down into two very different ways of operating. On the left, you've got the mental workflow. This is where you're relying on your brain for everything. It's high effort, it drains your energy, and your results are all over the place. But then look at the right. The documented workflow relies on a system. It's low effort, it saves your energy, and it creates steady, reliable progress. Okay, to make this really hit home, let me tell you a quick story. It's the perfect example of how this is all about the structures we build for ourselves and not about how hard we can push. This is a direct quote from a founder I know. Her entire output, her whole business, really, was at the mercy of her mood. Does that sound familiar? She felt totally unreliable because one day she was a superstar, and the next she couldn't get anything done. And when we dug into it, we realized her entire workflow lived inside her head. Nothing was written down. So every single time she sat down to do a recurring task, she had to basically reinvent the wheel. She was pulling the entire process from memory, from scratch. That is the mental workflow at its most draining. And this is the big realization. Her inconsistency wasn't a flaw in her character. It was a complete failure of her operational architecture. She had no external system, nothing to lean on when her own internal battery was running low. So if the problem is architectural, then the solution has to be architectural too. This isn't about some big mindset shift. It's about a simple, almost mechanical lever that you can pull. And we're calling it the checklist anchor protocol. I know, the name sounds a little fancy, but what it actually is could not be simpler. It's just writing down the steps for something you do over and over again. That's it. You're literally creating an external brain, offloading that massive weight of remembering so your mind can be free to do the actual important work. So how does this actually work in practice? Well, for starters, a simple checklist just obliterates all those little micro decisions you have to make. It lowers the friction to get started. And maybe most important of all, it holds the structure for you. It gives you a rhythm you can trust, especially on those days when you have zero energy. And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? This isn't about forcing yourself into a rhythm. It's about building a system that makes consistency the natural default outcome. The system does the heavy lifting. It carries the rhythm so you don't have to. And that brings us right here to a very clear choice. Every single day, you get to decide how you're going to work. Are you going to keep trying to force the rhythm with sheer effort and willpower? Or are you going to build a system that you can just step into? And just look at the difference. It's night and day. Forcing it relies on motivation, which we all know comes and goes. It feels like constant pressure, and it is a one-way ticket to burnout. But stepping into a system, that relies on structure. It feels calm, and it actually builds momentum over time. This is really the beautiful gift of this whole approach. It's giving yourself permission to stop carrying everything in your head. Let an external system hold the structure. Give your mind a break so it can do what it's truly good at, being creative, solving problems, and thinking big. So what can you do, right now? Don't try to systemize your entire life overnight. That's not the point. Just take one small, gentle step. Pick just one task that you do all the time. Maybe it's posting on social media or prepping for your weekly meeting. And just write down the steps. That's it. Keep it simple. And I'll just leave you with this to think about. We talked about the decision fatigue tax, but what's the real long-term cost of being your own human hard drive? What incredible creativity, what energy, what peace of mind could you get back if you just let a system do the remembering for you?